Greetings. I'm Kathleen Kapkara from Trinity Church in Towson, and I'm telling Bible stories everyone should know for the summer small groups at Trinity Church. This is the second in our series, and we move to New Testament stories this week, and stories about Jesus. I have a whole box of them, and they fit together like a puzzle. Let's see what we have. I'm going to give you a little overview of Jesus' ministry in Galilee, but we'll only tell one of the stories today. First, there are three key stories, three key moments in the life of Jesus. The Annunciation, when the angel Gabriel came to Mary and said that she would be the mother of God, the mother of Jesus. The Transfiguration, when Jesus went up to a mountain with his best friends, Peter, James, and John, and appeared with Moses and Elijah. And the Resurrection, when the women went to the tomb and discovered that Jesus had risen. This part of the puzzle is Jesus' ministry in Galilee. Calling of the disciples, saying, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." The Sermon on the Mount. Communion with his followers, the feeding of the 5,000. Walking through fields of grain on the Sabbath. And finally, the story we're going to hear today. Jesus' rejection at Nazareth. When Jesus was about 30 years old, he went into the desert to discover more about who he was and what his work was going to be. After about 40 days in the desert, he went to the Jordan River and was baptized by his cousin John. And then Jesus crossed back over the Jordan River into his hometown of Nazareth, and he went into the synagogue where he had always worshiped as a child. Jesus picked up the scroll from Isaiah that talked about the Messiah and read to the congregation from the scroll. "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me. He has sent me to announce good news to the poor, to proclaim release for prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to let broken victims go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And then Jesus rolled up the scroll and handed it to the worship leader and said to the congregation, "This very day, Scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." The people were not happy. They were not happy, first of all, because Jesus had left out the last phrase of that passage from Isaiah, the part where it said, "And a day of vengeance for our God." They wanted God to have vengeance on their enemies, but they were really angry and indignant because Jesus seemed to be saying that he was the Messiah. They knew he wasn't the Messiah. He was just Mary and Joseph's son. But how could they really know who Jesus was? If we had been there, we might have been blind too to who Jesus was. But the people were so angry, they decided to throw Jesus off a cliff. And they took Jesus to the edge of a cliff, and he walked right through the crowd, back behind them and into the hills. And Jesus thought to himself, "Prophets have honor everywhere except in their own hometown."